Hey guys, it's Jess from Pizza Books, and today I'm here with my top 9 or 10 book boyfriends. I don't remember the number I have, I just wrote out a list. These are not in a particular order. I was doing my top books of spring video, and then I did my book review for the Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. Well, I don't know how to say her last name every time. But I talked about my favorite book boyfriends and how there were 2, and there was 1 in each video, so 2 that I absolutely loved, and so I was like, maybe I'll do a favorite book boyfriend video. And if you don't know, a book boyfriend is, to me, a guy that you are just swooning over in a book and you wish you could just reach in, take him out of the book, and just keep him for yourself. That is a book boyfriend to me. I swooned over all of these guys. Now, you might notice some overlap between my favorite good guy romances. I tend to go for the really sweet, adorable guy who will do anything for his girl in those books, so that's kind of a common theme. There are a couple of outliers from that, but most of mine are the good guys and I love them. But I'm gonna go ahead and get to my favorite book boyfriends. I'm gonna get the 2 most obvious out of the way. That is Mr. Darcy and James Fraser, or Jamie from Outlander. These 2 are like my OG loves forever and ever and ever. I talk about them all the time. If you've been following me, you know how much I love them. Jamie is just like the freaking sweetest ever, and like he lets Claire put him in his place, which I love. He sometimes like gets a little snippy with her, but they are equals in their relationship, which I love. And of course Mr. Darcy, the classic brooding, misunderstood man who's such a sweetie on the inside. So I love these. The next one was one from my good guys romance, which I'm going to link that video down below. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it is Ridge from Maybe Someday. Ridge is deaf and he's a musician, and he is so loyal to those he loves. I'm not spoiling anything, I'm just saying he's very loyal to those he loves. He's very determined to be the good guy, and he's so passionate, and he's just so creative and amazing, and I can't believe that from what he went through, he was able to become what he did in this book. And I would love to be like Sydney and write lyrics for him because, yeah. Oh, it was so good, but I love Ridge. The next one, another Colleen Hoover book, but I can't say too much about this character because it would be a spoiler, and that is Atlas from It Ends With Us. I am not going to say that much. That is not the person that she meets in the beginning of this book, but I'm swooning hardcore over Atlas and everything he does in this book. And the thing with Ellen, it's just like, oh my god, like, ugh, I love him. I need a book of just him, please. Like, Colleen Hoover can write me a book about Atlas, I would be one happy person. So the next one's kind of like my outlier from all the good guys, and I don't remember exactly what happens in this book because I read it a while ago and I read it in a day, and so it's a little bit fuzzy. I should reread it, but that is Bear from the King series. I loved Bear's character in King's books, and I was dying for Bear's story, and I just love how he's so protective, but he's so loyal to his friends, even when it means going against what he was raised to be like. I don't fully remember what happens. I just remember something happens with him in the motorcycle gang he's in. Of course, I had to have a biker in this video because I'm addicted to motorcycle romances, and I just love how fiercely protective they are of the people they love and how far they will go for the people they love. And I don't know what it was about Bear, but he was my favorite, and I need to read his second book in this and then finish the series because I haven't yet. But I do remember him meeting her in the beginning. That's like really vivid to me, and some aspects of this book are vivid, and then what he went through in King's book was just so sad, and I just wanted to hug him and tell him it's gonna be okay. But I love Bear. This next one should be really obvious, and that is Michael from the Kiss Quotient. I told you in that review video, I'll link it down below, hardcore swooning over Michael. He is an escort, but of course it's for a reason. Every book you read about a male prostitute or escort, they're doing it for a reason, not because they like to. And he has such a it makes sense, and you just want to hug him and you're like, everything's gonna be okay. He loves his family so fiercely, which I loved. He's such a mama's boy. I really like that about him. And then Stella has a form of autism, and he didn't even like realize that she had autism. He just thought she was a quirky kind of person. He took her quirks in his stride and was super patient with her, super loyal to her, and I loved him so much. He was just so sweet and patient, like I said with Stella, and I loved him. The next one's another one where I don't remember exactly a lot about this book, but I remember my feelings for the main male character, and that is Dean Dilaurentis from The Score. All I remember is how broken he became at a certain part in this book, and I honestly cannot tell you a lot more about what happened in this book because it's been forever. It's been 2 years since I read this book, and I'm really bad at remembering books I read last year, let alone 2 years ago, so I don't remember a lot about him, but I remember him being my favorite. I did love Garrett Graham, but I think I loved Dean more in all of the books, so I think he's just like a really fun character, if I remember, and then like something happens and he like kind of breaks because of it, and it's hard. So I loved this book, and I loved Dean, but I can't remember why, but you know. Those feelings stick with you in books and not necessarily remembering everything that happened. The next book I feel like is kind of similar to Dean, and this is Drew Baylor from The Hookup. I loved Drew. Again, I think I read this one too fast, so like not everything is super clear to me. I just read this too like 7 months ago, so I need to reread this again. Maybe I'll see if there's an audiobook, but I remember loving Drew. I remember him being super fun. I think he did something just like super sweet with Anna, and I don't remember what it was, but I really liked it, and so I was hardcore fangirling. Not to mention I do love athletes, so that's why I think I love Dean and Drew so much. The next one, none of you are going to know because I haven't even talked about it. I literally started it yesterday, finished it today, and it doesn't come out until later this month, but I don't know what it is about this book, but I was obsessed. It has a 3.9 rating on Goodreads right now from people who have been reading arcs of it. And people haven't been saying the best of things, but I devoured this book and I was obsessed with Chase from this book. The book is One Small Thing by Aaron Watt. This is Aaron Watt's new standalone. So they have the Royal series. They have the two at the end of the Royal series that are Easton's books. And then they have When It's Real, I think. And I thought was okay. This one, oh my god, I was like so crushing on Chase, and I don't know why. So this is about a girl whose sister dies tragically. She gets hit by a car, and it's 3 years after it, I think, and our main character, she is a senior in high school now, and her parents are super, super strict because of, not bizarrely, but because of tragically losing their daughter, they don't want to lose their other one. Beth is so over being just trapped and imprisoned for her senior year, and so she meets this boy named Chase at a party, and then I didn't read the synopsis before going, so I had no idea, but then she figures out he had something to do with her sister's death, and they want to be together, but society and the stigma of them being together is way overshadowing anything they could want, and I loved Chase. I can't say too much without spoiling it, but he was, I just can't say anything without spoiling it, but I loved his character. He was so sweet, he was so strong, and he was so patient, and he really didn't let his temper get the best of him at all, which I appreciated. I hate guys who just like, if you watch The Bachelorette, looking at the men, I hate the guys who stir up drama. I hate the guys who can't keep their mouth shut. So Chase, people were rude to him, but he ignored it and he tried to be the bigger person, which I absolutely loved about his character. I loved how much he tried to do the best for Beth, and I just don't know why, but I was so in love with him in this book, even though it's, I don't know, I love this book. It's not getting that great of hype and not that great of reviews so far. I mean, people were giving me like 3 or 4 stars. I go to 5 star. I mean, like, I'm obsessed with Chase. That's all I can say. The last one's super obvious, and it is Gavin from Dearest Clementine. This is gonna throw off my lighting, I think, like the last one did, but Gavin's actually an RA, and he's an RA in the dorm that Clementine had lived in when she was a freshman. He works there, and they meet because Clementine is trying to find inspiration for her next book because she wrote a best-selling independently published novel when she was a freshman, and they meet, and Gavin, again, is super patient with her. He knows that she's not in the place that she wants to get in a relationship, especially what happened to her freshman year, and he's like, it's okay, I'll just have you write your book. And so, like, he kind of makes time for them to spend together, and he never pressures her into anything. He's super, super sweet. I'm a sucker for a sweetie in books. Like, oh my god, Gavin is just like the sweetest ever, and I loved how nice he was and how he was there to protect her, and he was there to back off when she wanted him to back off. He listened to her. Gavin, oh my god, I just loved Gavin so much. Yeah, so I just can't rave about Gavin enough, and I'm excited to finish the rest of the books in this series. And those are my favorite book boyfriends. Let me know down below if you agree with me or who your favorite book boyfriend is. I would love to hear. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.